Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on Saturday, the 6th of January, coming to you live from Turtle Beach and starting off our live program, hoping that everybody can see us and hear us. I'm in a new location for this. I've done programs here with Steve in the past, but I don't know if it's going to work live. But looks like it is perhaps working, so that's good. And if it's not, I'm sure you'll tell me. Now, today we are going to be talking about a few interesting topics, apart from anything that you'd like to discuss from the past week. I also want to get some ideas from you about the future of TNT. Now, it's not as if I'm stopping or anything. On the contrary, I want to try and make important changes to the program to make it better for you for 2024. Nothing stays the same, and this program has no right to stay the same. I want to build up the number of subscribers. I want to improve the quality of the program. That doesn't necessarily mean I've got to have more cameras or get a hairpiece, but at the same time, I want to make sure that we're delivering something that's useful to you at a time that's useful to you. Now, all of you will have, I'm sure, very, very different ideas, and all ideas are valid today. So my ears are open, and I'm here to see what we can do for the future. Also having a talk about Asian hate crimes in the United States, something that I've been a little bit involved with in the past, and that's a bit of a long story. But a story came up on Khaosod English that I thought was of interest that I'd like to cover, so I'll do that. Also, a story about wines and alcohol in Thailand. There is going to be a removal of the tax. Now, that's going to have all sorts of implications. Good morning, Baz.
Wow.
Come and say hello. We're live. This is Baz Daniel.
Hello, everybody out there in, what do we call it?
Live land.
Live land.
Yes, yes.
We're not in live land.
No, we are in
Frozen
live
in
land.
Time.
This is Baz, and he's made his way up to Turtle Beach for a couple of days.
Yes.
Of sin and sex and wine and song.
No sex as yet.
Okay, but we've had all the others.
I've been looking.
All right, well, good luck. Yeah. Good luck in Thai Mueang, that's all I can say. So you've had a bit of a bike ride this morning?
Just a shortish one, and then a sea swim.
Oh, you've had a swim, or you're going for a swim?
No, I've had a swim, and
isn't it beautiful in there?
Oh, it's absolutely fabulous. Steve Ross is. Oh, here he comes now.
Oh God, we got the whole team coming.
So he went out to the tin workings. I didn't go that far this morning.
Okay, I've got a funny feeling this live program's going to go completely off the rails.
Well, it's quite possible, isn't it?
Sure, it looks like it. So the dogs are greeting Steve, who's brought an umbrella for some completely unknown reason.
Keep the sun off my face.
Oh, there you are.
I am allergic to sunlight.
So, as I said, the program looks like it's going to go completely off the rails.
Oh, you're live.
Yeah, I'm live. Come and say hello.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. No, I didn't.
Oh, you knew exactly. You've come to it. Come and say hello. This is Steve Ross. He's very shy, and yeah, you look great.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
I saw you.
Put a lot of effort into this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you?
All right.
Sort of shambolic beach appearance.
Yeah.
So I saw you ride back. You rode all the way up to the end of the mine today.
No.
Not
three
quite.
Quarters of the way.
Three-quarters of the way.
Because I was going to come back and have breakfast with Baz, so I cut my ride short today. Yeah.
Oh, well, the things we have to do to make sure we can catch up with Baz.
All right, I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to come out here and eat my breakfast.
Okay.
Nice to see you all out there, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all you ships at sea.
Right.
Okay.
So, serendipitously.
Serendipitously.
That's
yes.
quite a difficult
Oh, you got
word
the
to
little
say,
red book,
isn't it? It's interesting the way objects travel through time.
Right.
This is Robert Louis Stevenson's famous book, Travels with a Donkey.
Okay.
Which he wrote in 1879.
Right.
About travelling through France with, guess what?
A donkey.
A donkey. And it was lent to me by Dr. Patrick Campbell, who has emblazoned it with this: Cartwright, Upper Fifth, 1949, which is the year I was born.
Okay.
Right? 75 years ago, next Thursday. I will turn 75 next Thursday.
75 next Thursday, not looking too bad.
This has been travelling through time.
Yes.
At least since Patrick had it.
Right.
And he was he was born in 1936 and went to a very famous school in England. Read the book for his O-levels.
Right.
Yeah. I'd never read it, but it's referenced to something else I was reading, and he lent it to me. And here it is on Thai Mueang Turtle Beach. Isn't that incredible in a way?
Sure,
it is true. Would have loved the idea.
True time travel. It doesn't have a thing on the front.
No,
it's like
or even on the spine. That's right.
I thought it was the little red book of Mao there for a moment.
I
thought you'd gone all communist on us.
Oh,
the little red book.
Eckhart Tolle. The most obvious man in the world.
So there you go, a bit of time travel on TNT this morning.
Well, speaking of which, I better go and have my breakfast as well.
Right.
Lovely to see you all in a real live world. And,
all these people. See you later. There you go. The people you see. So Steve and Baz coming to have some breakfast here at Turtle Beach. By the way, thank you for joining us. And just all these people I have to say. So Chris Gormley says, Tim, I have a document from a major Thai bank regarding requirements for opening a bank account for foreigners on a tourist visa. It naturally contains some mysterious conditions that need clarifying. So, yes, look, we are here for any general comments or questions that you have today, and we're happy to address those. Now, why... Did a massage lady knock out Steve's tooth? No, Reg. He had this troublesome tooth removed. I'm sure he'll tell you on his own channel. Steve Ross, with an E, YouTube channel. But he's much happier with that tooth out. Whether he's going to get a replacement or not is another adventure yet to come. But the reason I'm doing the program from here today is because after tomorrow I'm out of my Coral Cottage house and I'm moving about 500 metres down the road to stay in an apartment. Stay might be enthusiastic. I'll be camping there for a while whilst we actually figure out what we're doing with all the renovations, but it's going to be quite a lot of upheaval. So I'm going to be doing the daily program from here because we've got the internet. Because at the new place, well, I rolled up to the internet provider about 3 or 4 days ago saying, look, I just would like to get the internet connected. Now, usually in Phuket, every time I've moved, I've said, I want the internet connected, and they come out that afternoon and plug a few wires in together, and bingo, there's the new internet. But they said, oh no, it'd be 2 or 3 months. I went, okay. So I thought, well, that's going to be interesting. Now, I can't dingle-dangle off my phone, what do you call it, hot wire from my phone, because I've only got very slow 4G at that location. So, it looks like I'll be at this cafe, you'll see more about it, and a sort of an English approximation is Jib Fae Laele. Jib Fae Laele. So I think that sort of means coffee by the sea or sipping coffee by the sea. But this is where we are. I thought just very quickly before we get into the various topics, just show you a little bit where we actually are this morning. How does this work? Here we go. This is out the front of Jib Fae Laele, looking out towards the Andaman Sea. You can't quite sort of see it there today. There's no wind, so it's a bit hard to actually define where the water is. But then looking north along the Thai Mueang Beach Road up towards the National Park and the Tin Mine, and then turning around and looking at Jib Fae Laele this morning. And there's always a few soy dogs sitting out the front. They do a good job of looking after some local soy dogs. This is another sort of a picture here. A lot of cyclists to come here, sit down out the front with their funny shoes on, and looking down the road again. And then this is inside Jib Fae Laele. Jib Fae Laele. That's my best I can do. And of course there's the Instagram selfie spot there if you want to wear some wings. And from where I am, this is sort of looking out the window. They've got a few cacti lined up along the window and then looking out to the view. So as you can see, a very, very pleasant place to stop. and they do local food. They do a bit of Farang food. They do great coffees, shakes. I might even order one while I'm here. And you can also get like a hamburger. Probably one or two of the only hamburgers you'll get along the Thai Mueang Beach. But a lot of people just drop in here to have a bit of a coffee after they've cycled here, driven here, or come out on their motorbikes. A lot of motorbikes come up this way as well because we've got this 10 kilometres of just straight road. So let's get on to some okay. Really something hotel questions, people. Oh, do I have to do that again? Okay, for those people that have perhaps been living under a rock or just returned from the moon, the whole Marigold Hotel thing fell into a bit of a mess. This would have been, the middle of last year when we'd signed the contract and we were going ahead and spending money on renovations, or starting to, and the owners decided to change the conditions of the contract, which they're not really able to do, of course, unless there's agreement from both parties. But just staring the 10-year contract down the barrel and looking at what was to come, and understanding that I was already having some conjecture with the owners, I decided mutually with the owners to pull out of the contract. They were happy, I was happy, everybody was happy. I think I probably dodged a bullet. Now, as it happened at the same time, I was looking to find a sort of a weekend or a place I could go from Phuket. Phuket was becoming increasingly busy, and I was looking at a place I could sort of maybe call a weekender, somewhere up the coast. And as it happened, I'd just run into Steve Ross at the same time, and he asked me to come up to where he lived to record our very first Grumpy Old Men, and we ended up here at Turtle Beach, and I was just stunned by the place. And as it's happened, quite serendipitously, using that word twice in the same show, first Baz, now me, I was able to find these old fishermen's cottages which needed a lot of renovation, and I thought, I think people would love to come and stay here. But the accommodation levels here are very, very low. There's a couple of old bungalows. There's a boutique resort in town, but that's really about it. So I've established one, Nelly 2, which I've got my first customer on Monday, and the two old renovated beach cottages, beach houses if you like, and I'm moving into what will be the third whilst I'm getting the house in front renovated. So eventually I'll have 3 short-term rentals, basically set up as and themed as beach cottages here, right on this almost barren beach where you're unlikely to see another tourist on any day of the year. And I'm looking out onto it now, and there's nobody out there. There's a fisherman going past, but people just drive past Turtle Beach on their way to Khao Lak or somewhere else, and very few people know about the area. But I've lucked into finding this particular place, and very happy here. So we've turned basically sort of a small hotel operation into 3 short-term rentals. And by the way, if you're interested, there are links in the description of this video if you'd like to have a look at the 2 that are currently online. And you can book through Airbnb or bookings.com, or send me an email and you can make a direct booking. So there you go. All right, what else do I have to talk about? Okay, now I mentioned, I'll get to all these comments in just a moment. There are plenty of comments and I do want to address them. But as we mentioned in yesterday's TNT program, that 5 Star Marine, in conjunction with a whole lot of other safety stakeholders and the provincial government of Phuket and the Phuket governor, are putting together a document and a whole level of new training for specifically boat captains and people running boats and operators in Phuket. So this is the invitation. We invite our fellow industry friends to join together to make a commitment to marine safety. And recent marine incidents have spotlighted safety in the local, national and international media. It's time for us as an industry to come together and make a public statement to increased safety standards. The Phuket Governor, the Vice Governor, the Marine Director and related agencies will join with us in undertaking a commitment to improve safety standards. And the government can't do this alone. We, as operators, owners and suppliers, need to also step forward and commit. So join us in an industry-first event where we can move forward to a Phase 1 commitment to safety as an industry. It's important to understand that just Sean and the Governor really can't make all the changes that are needed. A lot of the problems with boat safety in a place like Phuket, and we are talking about Phuket specifically at the moment because this is where a lot of these recent safety infringements happened and have happened in the past. We can only go back 5-6 years to 2018 when 47 Chinese tourists died in Phangar Bay after their boat sank. That was just horrendous. The reason we didn't hear a lot about that incident at the time is it occurred at the same time they were pulling those 13 young men out of the Tham Luang caves in northern Thailand, and that got all the media interest. Otherwise, that story would have been a lot bigger than it was. It was big in China, and the Chinese have been very wary about coming to places like Phuket specifically ever since. But Sean does have a lot of clout because he's got the most successful boat business in Phuket. He's also got an unblemished safety record with his boats. I've seen the maintenance they do on the boats. I've seen Sean tearing his hair out, having to pull boats out of service. I've seen the commitment that he and his business have made to boat safety. Now, the Phuket Governor recognises this and needs Sean's help to try and get some of the things that they do for their own boat company, 5 Star Marine, to be able to establish some of those systems to other companies in the area. Now, a lot of work's been done in the background. This will be like a sort of signing a memorandum of understanding by all the different boat companies and boat captains, and then there's going to be a time of making new rules and enforcing those rules. That's the most important part of it, enforcement. So you can come to this event. It's going to be on the 15th of January, starting at 5 o'clock till 7 o'clock. And it's going to be at the Phuket Boat Lagoon. Drinks and snacks will be provided. Attendance is free. And now is the time to step forward, to come together to make a commitment and lift industry standards and protocols. So yeah, I'll be at that event and be very happy to see any of you that are able to attend. Phuket's Boat Lagoon, I imagine at the 5 Star Marine office, and that'll be on the 15th of January. Okay, I'm just going to have a very quick water here. And we'll get to some of the many, many comments. And thank you to all those people that have dropped in today to say hello. Good morning, Tim. How about 90-day visa for US and Canada? What do you know? This is from Norman Brown. I've heard nothing. A lot of people just assuming after there were changes to the visa status of several countries late last year, including China and Kazakhstan, and then later Taiwan and India, previously had visas on arrival, now are visa-free for 30-day visits. Earlier in the year, Russian citizens were granted an extension of their visa waiver from 30 days to 90 days, and so there was some expectation that that will just follow on to other visas. Well, I've heard nothing about the US or Canada being granted 30-day visas. I've seen nothing in the news. If you know something about that, then please give me your source and we'll check it out. But as far as I know, a lot of things happening out the front at the moment, the 90-day visas for people coming from Canada, from the United States, Australia, the UK, most European countries are being granted 30 days visa-free. So you just arrive with your a spare singlet and a pair of underpants and they'll give you a 30-day stamp in your visa. You don't have to pre-apply for it. And there's nothing that I've seen that's going to be extending that to 60 or 90 days at the moment. Okay, also I've got another one from Between Drinks who said, I've heard USA and Canada citizens might be granted 90-day exceptions on arrival, even in offices. Do you feel this would have... No, I've heard nothing about this. So if you had heard some rumours, might be some scuttlebutt on the internet, but I've read nothing. And if anything was going to happen, my visa agent, apart from anybody else, would be calling me and saying, guess what? Because I've got quite a few ins into the immigration departments locally, so I would have heard something about this already. I've heard nothing. I might be wrong, but I've heard nothing. Well, you must have finished. Good morning from Banksaray. Good morning to you. We've got Dam with us. Sad to hear David Soul has died. David Soul. Was that Starsky and Hutch? Yeah, I suppose he would have been moving on. Good morning from Sunny Char Arm, says the Queensland Tiger. Lots of people with us. Question, Tim, when are we building your website? Says Deadeye. I don't know. Do I need a website for my short-term rentals? Maybe, probably. I seem to be able to get plenty of bookings out of Airbnb and bookings.com, plus a few direct bookings to basically fill them. I'm not sure if I need a website. Then again, of course, the Airbnbs and the bookings.coms of this world, they do a great job putting properties in front of your eyes so you can consider them for making a booking. They're basically the websites, and they're doing all the hard work. They're also collecting the money and sending me a check once a month. So I'm not really sure if I need a website. Do I need a website for TNT? Again, YouTube is sort of doing all the heavy lifting in that regard and putting the programs in front of people. So Deadeye probably would love a website, but I'm not exactly sure what I'd do with it. And given that I'd probably have to update it quite often, so I'm on... I do appreciate the fact that you've made this sort of offer, by the way, but I'm not exactly sure what I would do with it. Hello from beautiful Redwood City in California. Hans, it must be time for you to be heading to Thailand soon. Good morning from Samut Prakan, says Flory. Scott D's also dropped in, of course, from, I imagine, fairly cool Chicago. Let's see if we can get down to some of these questions. Queensland Tiger on 4/1 something 20. Oh, okay, the 4th of January. I reviewed my retirement visa at the Petchbury office. No mention of foreign income or taxation. Is this the same experience for everyone? I renewed my... So you extended your retirement visa for another year. Is it an O or an OA? That would be my first question. You weren't asked to show any foreign income. Oh, I see. Okay, so you may have been asked to prove that you had your requisite 800,000 baht in the bank, but no mention of foreign income or taxation. This whole foreign incoming money into Thailand is still very much in flux. And I know we're 6 days into the new year. We still really haven't heard anything specifically from the Revenue Department, apart from what we've already heard. Now, I've had a number of taxation experts contact me over the past couple of months asking if they can come and explain things to everybody. I'm just sort of waiting until I can see with my own eyes roughly what's going to be happening. And things like this comment from the Queensland Tiger indicating that getting visas at the moment is not seemingly connected to this whole taxation issue. And I think we're just going to have to wait a few months and see how this washes out. But it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all, everybody's going to have to start paying tax on incoming monies. There's going to be plenty of exemptions. And apart from many exemptions, there's going to be plenty of workarounds as well from different people. There's a beautiful husky out the front who is owned by the people. They've got 3 or 4 soy cats and there's 5 or 6 soy dogs out the front. And this young husky pup, which is getting quite big now, it's probably about half the size it's going to grow to, is still in that everything's wow sort of phase. And it's fun seeing that little dog growing up. Husky. Why on earth would you get a husky in Thailand? I know they're really popular, and Thais love their eyes. But they've got that really long coat. Obviously, sort of built for a much colder climate. Not necessarily the sort of thing that you'd find here in Thailand. Hello from cold northwest Illinois, says Vincent. Hey, Tim says Thug Life. Queensland Tiger, good luck to you. You've sort of moved. Of course, this taxation issue may not kick in really until next year, because it's the things that happen and the money that you bring in this year that may or may not be taxed. So it's going to take a couple of years probably to see all this wash out and see how it affects some people and not others. Watch this space, that's about all I can say. And if I do find some taxation agents contacting me in the next couple of weeks that I can have a chat to and sort of get at the gist of what they're trying to clarify, then we might do that. Now, the reason I'm just wearing this crappy old t-shirt is because I literally don't know where my shirts are at the moment. They're certainly not at Coral Cottage. I went down to the new property today and I couldn't find any of my shirts there. So I don't know where my shirts are at the moment. I might be wearing this for the next 5 years. I'll probably have to give it a wash every now and then. Or I could wear one of Steve's plaid shirts, I suppose. But I'm not exactly sure what's going to be happening in regards to shirts. Will you be back with Steve next Sunday? I see he's hooking up with Tyrish for an interview. Steve and I were having just a bit of a break. It might last 2 or 3 weeks, I don't know. But I just don't have time to do the Grumpy Old Men program. Apart from recording it, I've got to edit it, I've got to upload it, I've got to do all the things. So I just don't have time at the moment. It's not Steve, it's me, and I'm just trying to reduce my workload a bit. This hour show on Saturday mornings basically takes me an hour because it's live and then it's done, no editing. But the Grumpy Old Men show does take a little bit of shooting, editing, and then uploading. So Steve and I are going to have just a rest. I think we've done nearly 50 shows. So and in some ways we may have partially run out of things to talk about. So we're just going to give it a bit of a breather. And along with the rest of the channel, I'm just going to try and just consider what exactly are the best programs to put out on TNT on a daily basis. But Grumpy Old Men having a rest for a few weeks. Let's get on to this next story, and I've put a link to this story in the comments section, because in the the text underneath the YouTube channel. I found this quite worrying and disturbing that this sort of stuff was still happening. And so let's go to this story from Khaosod English. California restaurants' comeback shows how outdated false Asian stereotype of dog eating persists. And it relates specifically to this place called Love and Thai, which is a Lao Thai kitchen. And it's all in the fact that Love and Thai in Fresno, California, a restaurant is open at all. A baseless accusation grounded in a racist stereotype about Asian food using dog meat brought a 6-month barrage of harassment so heated that Rasavong, who's 41, closed down its previous location over fears for his family's safety. In his earlier restaurant had itself only been open for 7 months when a so-called animal welfare crusader in May implied on social media that a pit bull cats and dogs having a fight out the front, that a pit bull tied up at an unconnected home next door was going to be served on the menu. And a day after the initial commentary, vitriolic statements, voicemails and calls rained down. Rasavong's body still tenses up when recounting, in particular, a call from an elderly woman. She was so disgusted, he said, by me and yelling and screaming. The only thing I can remember hearing her say at the end was, "Go back to the country you came from, you dog-eating mother effer." So within days, he closed that restaurant because it no longer felt safe between the harassment and the people loitering in the parking lot outside of business hours. And the false accusation tapped into a long-standing slur against Asian cuisines and cultures that's persisted in the US for over 150 years, dating back to the xenophobia that grew in the US after Chinese immigrants started arriving in more visible numbers in the 1800s and other Asian communities followed. It's also one that Asian American communities are fighting against. This has been a big problem that arises from time to time. I grew up in an Australia that was very racist towards Asian people in my younger days. Certainly a situation that has radically changed during my lifetime, and very proud to say that Australia is now a much more accepting and open culture than it used to be. Certainly one of the great multicultural melting pots around the world. Here's a photo of this gentleman's establishment. Looks like a very cool place indeed. And it's in Fresno. If you're in Fresno, go to this restaurant, which is called Love and Thai in Fresno, California. And there's hope, though, that more people will learn to tell truth from trope. Since the pandemic first fueled anti-Asian hostilities, AAPI communities themselves have tried to take control of the narrative that Asian food is dirty, weird, yet exotic. Furthermore, the appetite to learn about food from the Asian diaspora has only grown across traditional and new media. Let's hope that situation does continue. There's a lot more to that article, and I'll put a link in the description in today's video. But very worrying when you read about these sort of things still happening in the year 2024. And I know there are some politicians who use immigration as some sort of leverage to get themselves more votes. These sort of approaches by a lot of right-wing politicians around the world is reprehensible in this day and age, when we need to just have a much more open mind to understand that countries like Australia and the US have benefited greatly from immigration and continue to do so to this day. Yes, there are documented cases of immigration going wrong. There are sometimes bad government decisions that make the situation worse for everybody. But generally, immigration has made a lot of these countries a lot stronger. I'm talking specifically about the country I am from, Australia. Now they've exported me, and I've been imported into this lovely Asian country where I love living. And hopefully I'll be able to stay here courtesy of the Thai government. So that story, there's a link in the description. I've got another one about alcohol coming up, but we'll go to some of your comments now. Will you be back with Steve next Sunday? Probably not next week, but maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I've just got to get settled in these new houses. I've got to find my shirts, and I'm going to desperately try and do the daily show, but yeah, we'll just give grumpy old men a bit of a rest for a few weeks. Good afternoon from a warm Melbourne. Thank you, David, and good to make contact with you late last year, and we hope to see you this year. Comment, Tim should do reviews of hair care products. This is from Marie Reid. Do you think so? I'm not really sure what I'd be able to do. I could do demos. I could test out the products. I'm not really sure if you'd see much change. I'd be happy to do so. Perhaps they could furnish me with a little bit of paper assistance. I'd be happy to do so. How about doing some interviews with other YouTubers? A suggestion from Andrew Rumney. Yeah, look, I think I've got this amount of time, and obviously I do that daily news program, which is sort of the staple for the channel. And it's not only the staple for the channel, but it's the box that YouTube have put me in. News about Thailand in the English language. So anytime I do things outside that box, they don't tend to favour that particular program. Even Grumpy Old Men, I think, is sort of stuck within that same box, even though the topics we discuss are anything but news and cover a lot of lifestyle, retirement, and health and things like that. So, a bit hard to actually know what to do with other topics. But also I'm not really sure what am I going to get from interviewing other YouTubers. I mean, there are some other YouTubers that have got a vast wealth of knowledge, people like Steve. But as far as just interviewing a YouTuber because they're a YouTuber, well, I'm just not exactly sure what we'd get out of that. There are thousands of YouTubers, and I have spoken to a few in the past, and they've kindly interviewed me. I mean, Pete from Irish Times interviewed me in the very early days of TNT, and I'll be forever grateful for his support, which really kicked off this channel, and I will be grateful for Pete and his support for that. But I don't know which particular YouTubers. What am I going to get out of the interview with them, apart from maybe just giving them additional publicity? But maybe you can suggest some YouTubers you think I should interview, and I think it has to be more than I think they're interesting. Why are they interesting? What sort of information can they impart? What value can they add to this channel to provide you with a better service? That would be my questions. Wow, PG Santa is back in the chat. I didn't know he'd ever gone, but hello, PG Santa. Is Baz the third grumpy old man? Well, Baz was going to be the third grumpy old man in the very early days, but he just, he lives in Phuket and we live up in Thai Mueang. So, I don't really know. Oh, but some bikers just arrived. When I say bikers, I mean people on bicycles with the funny shoes and everything. So they're just wandering in. Baz was one of the original, was one of the original grumpy old men. So I think that was the first time you saw the original planned 3 grumpy old men on camera together. So well noted, Hans. Good morning, Hans supposed to be. Pervy Santa is in the house. Pervy Santa? Okay. Everybody's talking about Mr. PG Santa now. So we're getting the original concept for grumpy old men today. Briefly, I think they're still out there having their breakfast, Steve and Baz. Sometimes it's hard to check in with your show every day, says Alexander. What I would appreciate, just speaking for myself, is a concise 20-minute weekly briefing with key headlines. I'd watch that every time. Yeah, the thing about news is it is... I'm going to shift myself here a bit. News is sort of short, has a short shelf life. It comes and goes, and today's news is tomorrow's spare newspapers. Somebody used to say, today's news is tomorrow's fish wrappers, in the old days when they used to wrap up fish and chips in newspaper. So I get that. By the time we've come to the end of the week, just regurgitating the week's news seems to be, well, not really news. It's probably just being a bit more of a digest about what has happened. Whereas I've already spoken about the issues, when they're fresh and when they're actually news. So I'm not sure if a weekly wrap-up of news is something that would be the sort of thing people would watch these days. I don't know. Well, you obviously think so. Maybe other people think so as well. Excuse me. More cyclists just arriving. Thanks, Alexander, for that anyway. Did a massage lady knock out Steve's tooth? No, we've done that one. That book is older than me, says Arthur Lee. Oh, we're still back to there. Tim, I have a document from a major Thai bank regarding requirements for opening a bank account for foreigners on a tourist visa. Chris, you're going to have to forward that to me. Send it to timnewtontoday@gmail.com. I actually went into the bank looking to open a bank account yesterday. Me, of all people, I thought I had every single document I needed. I still wasn't able to open the bank account. Thank you very much to Bangkok Bank in Thai Mueang for being so difficult So I'm not going to go into the reasons why, but basically I needed a handwritten note by my grandfather, I think, to get a new bank account opened. I've been living here for 13 years. I've got my certificate of residency. I had my passport. I had all my visa details. Anyway, I couldn't open an account here in Thai Mueang. So, forward that information to me, timnewtontoday@gmail.com. Somebody who talks more than Steve Ross never thought that was possible. Baz, you referring to Baz? Yeah, Baz can talk, sure. Where exactly are you located for this live stream, says Thug Life. As I mentioned, the best equivalent I can come up with in English, although the sign's in Thai, is Jib Fae Laele. Jib Fae Laele. There's Baz. And not bad for 75. He's fighting fit. Hell of a lot fitter than I am. Jib Fae Laele. And that's about 1 kilometre down the Thai Mueang Beach Road. About 200 metres past the turtle, the big concrete turtle. That's where it is, and it's probably the most popular coffee shop along this stretch. Actually, I think it's the only coffee shop along this stretch of beach, so that's where it is. How to send for your audience comments. How to send. Oh, okay, so timnewtontoday@gmail.com if you want to send me an email. Are you still opening your hotel in Phuket, asks Michael Bridge. Michael, where have you been for the past 9 months? No, I am not opening a hotel in Phuket. I must have said that 1,000 times. Almost sick of saying it, actually, but I've got these 3 Airbnbs. There's a link in the description below. Here at Turtle Beach, which personally I think is a much more interesting place to visit than Phuket. Then again, if you want to go to Phuket, there are many, many, many places you can stay. I think there are, 2,000 or 3,000 hotels there. But at this part of the world, there's a lot fewer places that you can stay, and it is a very, very different experience. Don't come to Turtle Beach if you want to go to bars, go shopping, go to markets, and do all that sort of malarkey. There's just none of that here. There's no nightlife. It's a very quiet little Thai town. Very quiet indeed. So bring a book. Bring some movies that you've downloaded. Actually, all the properties I've got Netflix and YouTube, so you can watch anything you want anyway. But no, he's not coming back. He's out there having a coffee. Yeah, so Turtle Beach is a very, very different experience than Phuket, which is only 20 minutes down the road, but it's like going to a completely different Thailand. Phuket these days is a very busy tourist island, and as we've noted the last couple of weeks, the numbers for the past month have been approaching those of the pre-COVID numbers. Just driving around Phuket at the moment, you speak to anybody, it's very, very busy indeed. So good for the traders there, good for the hotel owners, good for the people who rely on tourism, good for 5-Star Marine. Good luck if you can get a trip on one of their boats at the moment. You need to book several months ahead. What is the status of your... Oh, God. I'm starting to think people are just trolling me about the hotel. In fact, what I'll do is in the future, if anybody wants to ask me about the old Marigold Hotel, I'll just block them. Because I've answered the question so many times that I suspect I am starting to be trolled. So thank you very much, James. Morning from non-white, 22 so far, 22 degrees. It's probably about 25 here now, heading for a top of 32 degrees at Turtle Beach today. Really, with hotel questions, people, Scooter McGee, thank you very much. I do suspect, as I said, that I'm being trolled. Now, here's another interesting story that leapt out of the pages. It was covered during the week. I didn't actually get around to covering it in the news because it wasn't something that I thought was specifically interesting, but there are some ramifications. Oh God, what have I done? Press this, here we go. Go to I've got to press this and then this, here we go. Oh, that's back to the cafe in Fresno. Thai wineries fear tax cut will flood the market with European wines. Okay, so we've had an alcohol tax cut such that the import duties are being slashed for alcohol coming into Thailand. Now, anybody who's bought wine, for example, over the years, I never say that properly, have always complained that the wine prices have been just exorbitant, ridiculous. Even the cheap wines, but that's going to change. The story says the Grand Monte Winery in Khao Yai worried that the government's decision to lift import duties on foreign wines will lead to a flood of European wines that will crush the Thai wine market. Now, a lot of you going, the Thai wine market? They grow wines in Thailand? Yes. Apparently some of them are quite good. I wouldn't call it ubiquitous or anything, but the Thai wine market is a thing. And they're calling on the government to take measures to reduce production costs and relax laws that hinder competition. And the government's recent measures that have reduced taxes on grape wines are a good thing, but there are more concerns when looking at the big picture. With the new taxes, import duties on foreign wines will also be abolished. Normally, many foreign wines that have free trade agreements with Thailand do not have to pay import duties, such as Australian, New Zealand and Chilean wines. These wines will only benefit from the reduction in excise duties. But wines from European countries such as France, Italy and Portugal, most of which are high quality wines, well, I think you can get some high quality wines in Australia and New Zealand as well, were previously subject to high import duties of around 50 to 60% of the price. By waiving import duties, they believe fully and also receive, they benefit fully and also receive a double reduction in excise duties. And this has caused great concern among Thai wine producers. They fear that European wines will flood the Thai market and make it difficult for Thai producers to compete. The European producers have cutting-edge technology, large production volumes and lower cost than Thai producers. Did you know that there are Thai wines? Now, I've only been to one Thai winery. I don't drink any alcohol. I don't drink wines either. When I used to live in Australia, I lived sometime I grew up on the Mornington Peninsula, which as I was growing up was becoming a big wine producer, scattered with very cute wineries all over the place. But I've been to the Monsoon Valley Winery in Hua Hin. Now, that's in central Thailand and hardly what you would call a climate conducive to growing wines. But hey, what do I know? Up in the north of Thailand, okay, you do get that cold snap that's usually required for growing grapes, but of course different varieties of grapes will thrive in different sort of weather conditions. So growing wines in Thailand, who would have thought? It is a bit of a thing, but the local producers now worried that their nascent wine growing industry might be stymied by this change in taxation. And wine production in Thailand is limited to a few producers who grow their own grapes, and the cost of growing grapes increases every year as the price of fertilisers, pesticides and fuel rises. In addition, there are problems with various laws, in particular the law on advertising and promotion in the media. In many countries, there are not as many restrictions as in Thailand. So you probably know that it's pretty much illegal to advertise alcohol in Thai media. Which is why a lot of these alcohol companies produce things like water and soda water with their logos emblazoned so you can see, but of course they're only actually got a logo on there for the water, which can be advertised. Always a workaround, isn't there? Another customer arrived. See? Coffee shop. Very popular. Okay, we've got a few super chats, so I would like to acknowledge those. Okay, this is from Nacho Daddy. I was a US Coast Guard licensed captain in Florida and Alaska. We were required to belong to a drug consortium for random drug testing. Oh, had me worried there for a moment. Pilots, bus drivers and train operators must have drug tests. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be, as part of this new Memorandum of Understanding put together jointly by Five Star Marine and the local Phuket government, will involve, if not random, there will be some sort of compulsory drug testing, and it will be regular. I'm pretty sure that's going to be part of it. Again, it's going to come down to enforcement. But you're going to have me badgering the Phuket governor. You're going to have Sean badgering the Phuket governor. And I think we are going to see some concrete changes. But it's a long-term effort to really change the culture. The culture that's not only on the seas off Phuket, but also pervades the roads of Thailand, as you know. Fuzzy picture, nice to see this Steve with an E and missing tooth. That means this is current broadcast. The chairman, morning Tim, morning all from a very nippy spot in North Thailand. Good morning Tim, says Martin. I'm working in Rayong at work now. Have a great show. I'll watch it later. Wishing you well. Cheers from Martin. Let's go down to these super chats. And firstly, we've got one from Shelley Hale. Shelley Hale. When I sort of read names these days, I'm sort of reading them with a Thai context, thinking they've been written in English and I have to somehow decipher them. But obviously, Shelley Hale, that's quite easy. But thank you very much for your support of the program. Assuming that you are you're actually in Thailand at the moment. Frank in Thailand, also thank you very much. Congratulations reaching the 30,000 subscribers. Surprise, isn't it? I was zooming towards it in December, and then things really slowed down to a couple of subscribers a day. I thought, I'm never going to get there, but then suddenly, early this week, we just clicked over the 30,000 subscribers. Subscribers very hard to come by these days. I noted that there's one news publication just looking at their stats last week, and the subscribers have been going like this for the past 10 years, and then suddenly it went like that. Just overnight. Strange, amazing where subscribers can come from just all of a sudden. Amazing. So congratulations to them for their sudden surge in new subscribers. Let's go back. I don't want to miss comments. I try not to. Sometimes it just happens. You got crossover subscribers from collaborating with other content providers. You get crossover subscribers from collaborating with other content providers. I'm not getting cross. I'm just saying I'm just not sure if talking to another YouTuber is just going to be some magic value to them without necessarily providing you with any value. I'm delighted if they get more subscribers, as I've been very lucky when I've done chats with other YouTubers. I've got some additional subscribers as well. It's just who is getting subscribers is not really important in that particular discussion. It's what value it is to you as a viewer. Is a COVID insurance still required for non-immigrant visa? No. Latte bike riders, please. Yes, plenty of cyclists dropping in here for a quick coffee, and the coffee here is very good. I had one this morning. In fact, I usually come every single day here for a coffee with number one. Tim, I'd love to see a live program from the beach, says Alison Standen. Yes, we could probably do that if I can get a live program. Live, that means I'm going to have to find somewhere along the beach where I can get 4 or 5G consistent signal. So I might have to do some tests on that, but that would be fun. Understanding that early morning we usually would have a bit of shade on the beach. So we'll have a look at maybe doing that next week for the program. You could do weekly top news picks on a website. Okay, this is suggestions as to what we can do with TNT into 2024. I do not only want to, but I have to make some changes. I've got to increase the number of views. It's sort of languishing around the 15 to 20,000 mark each day. I want more viewers, so I can turn this more into a profession and turn it into part of my work. It takes me 3 hours a day to prepare. I need to be making more money to make it worthwhile continuing. So I've got to shake things up some way or another to make sure I can continue to provide you with a good, worthwhile, reasonably produced program. Ken RQ says, I miss having fish and chips wrapped in butcher's paper, the newspaper. Well, yeah. I don't know, people still get fish and chips on Friday nights. It used to be a thing where I lived in a place called Mount Eliza at one stage. There used to be, on every Friday night, the local fish and chippery used to be very busy with people, I suppose a few Catholics, popping in to get their fish and chips for Fridays. Do people still do that? Be interested to know if you do. Fish and chips, I haven't seen fish and chips. Actually, having said that, just yesterday there was a little stand out the front of the place I'm renovating down the road, and they had little bits of fish all battered up and fried. They weren't chips, but I was having, I suppose, the fish part of fish and chips, or the Thai Mueang version of that. Looking younger, Tim, did you have work done, says the big W. No, I haven't had any work done. I could probably get some work done. I certainly need it, but no, I haven't had any work done. I'm on YouTube every day. I'm not exactly sure when I'd be able to fit that in. And what are you suggesting I need done anyway, hey? I went to Bangkok Bank and had trouble getting my account open there too, says Shelley Hale. So, yeah. Look, some banks are going to be easier than others to open an account, and it depends sometimes on the bank manager. I had this very lemon-lipped particular manager yesterday that I figured if I had a signed letter from the Australian Prime Minister and a stamp in my passport from the Thai Prime Minister and a letter from Joe Biden, they wouldn't have given me an account. And he just decided that he was not going to give me an account. And I can assure you I had all the documents they needed. Anyway, there you go. All good fun. They will open bank instantly if you're transferring money from overseas, says Mick Fitz. Well, yes, I was just... actually, I had a wad of cash I wanted to give them because I don't want to have cash at my house. So, yeah, I had... Well, more than you were suggesting there, Charles. 5,000 baht at Bangkok Bank, Pattaya. Local fixer with a desk inside the bank. Yes, I think I'm going to just have to work through, well, you're calling it a fixer, an agent. Yeah, agents can sometimes pull enough strings, but just a bit silly after 13 years that I can't open a bank account in this country and in this town. But anyway, there you go. Mark Fitz says, I went into Bangkok Bank and said I'm sending 5 million baht, had it open in 1 hour. Yeah, look, I could do that, but I don't really feel I need to lie to them. I had all the documents required, just as I said that they just decided they were not going to let this white guy open up a bank account on this day. You now need to supply your NI number to Bangkok Bank on opening or upgrading. NI number. What's an NI number? Something. I don't know. What's an NI number? I don't know. PG Santa. There are so many people asking about your hotel. You probably should just go ahead and do one. Well, yeah, that's the other thing I could do, I suppose. But I certainly don't have the wherewithal to open a hotel in Phuket. I've lost complete interest in doing anything in Phuket. It's just become very, very, very busy and not a place that I'm happy to go there. I've still got some friends there, and we'll keep on going there from time to time when I have to do some things like get certain foods or get certain services. I think I'm having to go to IKEA very early tomorrow morning to picking up last minute things for Beach House number 2. But otherwise, no, my life is now based on Turtle Beach in Phangar And I'll be running my little businesses here and hopefully doing a good YouTube channel into the future. Tim used the marigold question to promote the... Yes, okay. Quiet town, but noisy cafe. Yes, I mean, there are cars. I'm just 3 or 4 metres from the road here, and also people popping in and they turn the coffee machine on. Yes, it will be noisy, so I'm sorry if that's distracting you. Eat chips wrapped in newspaper and then read the newspaper, even though the news might be ancient, and do the crosswords or Sudokus. Can't do that any longer. Does anyone drink beer at Turtle Beach? I'm sure there are a lot of people that drink beer. I mean, you can buy beer in town. I think there's a couple of restaurants you can also buy a beer here if you are having a meal. But it's just not as if it's a sort of a non-drinking town. It's just there are no specific bars or there's no nightclubs. There's not even a 7-Eleven along the beach here, and there never will be. It's just the way that the titles prevent any development along this particular stretch of beach, and that's probably a good thing. But yeah, I mean, you could just grab some beers at 7-Eleven on your way down and sit on the beach and enjoy them and watch the sunset if you so wanted. TIT, keep trying on the bank account. Yeah. Can anyone tell me I've done that? Well, I'm glad we spent all that time on Phuket during COVID. Yeah, look, I mean, I was stuck in Phuket initially when COVID hit and we had all the lockdowns. And I was thinking to myself, gee, how lucky am I being stuck on a tropical island in Southeast Asia during the worst of COVID. I still had access to food, and I had my YouTube commitments to do every day, so I was still very busy. Beyond that, then when things eased up, I was travelling up to Bangkok, and I was going Bangkok, Phuket, coming back to Phuket every weekend. So I had a pretty good lifestyle, and I was working all the way through COVID. A lot of my friends weren't. A lot of people had profound changes to their lives. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people got very sick, and as we know, a lot of people died. But I was one of the very lucky people that was working all the way through COVID, and I will remain always very grateful for that happening. Hi Tim, good morning. I had pinged you on Facebook to provide free thumbnails for your videos, as you are one-man show. When can we get started? This is the least I can contribute as a loyal viewer. This from Deepak. Look, I don't usually accept friends on Facebook. Facebook is really for me to sort of keep in contact with people I know and my family. I think I've strayed beyond those particular parameters a bit, but generally Facebook isn't a good place to contact me. The best place to contact me is timnewtontoday@gmail.com. Look, and I really appreciate people offering help, but I mean, unless I can pay you, I don't really want people offering a daily service or help, because at some stage I'm going to feel beholden to you. And that's another reason why in the future I maybe just need to keep doing the programs just within my own orbit and myself, because I can't really afford to pay other people to do things for me, because the channel isn't big enough to support staff, let alone finding anybody that could actually help me here in Turtle Beach. I mean, Steve's got his own channel, and well, I'm basically retired. He's basically retired and unable to work technically. So yeah, look, I appreciate all the offers of help. Advice is great. Ideas, great. As far as doing something on a daily basis that contributes to the channel, well, unless I can pay for those services, I'm going to feel beholden. And also, I don't know, is it sustainable? Like, is it for one day, 1 week, 1 month, or forever? But look, I do appreciate anybody's suggestions or offers of help, really. Best thing you can do is to subscribe, as I've said 100 times. Frank in Thailand, thank you very much, Frank. I got that one. Imported tax cut. Awesome. Should make it easier to get premium tequilas. Oh, okay. Yes, they're slashing the import duties on imported alcohol. Apparently, in some cases, I suppose, like anything else in the Thai taxation system, we're just going to have to wait a few months to see how it actually ends up in real life, whether your imported alcoholic beverages are actually cheaper in Thailand. I've got a very good friend who drinks a lot of wine, and they'll be watching the price of wine very closely. Bill Ellis has a comment about Thai wines, saying Thai wines are generally sweet. They don't compete with most European wines. Thai wine is not good. Come on, says Mick Fitz. Thai wine is gross, Tim, says PG Santa. I just knew a lot of people would have their own impressions about Thai wines. I've got some interesting stories about wines. And as I said, in the past, I grew up on the Mornington Peninsula, and I used to go to a winery almost every weekend, either for a meal, because some of them had excellent restaurants, or they had cheese tastings and things, and I love cheese. So I used to go to a lot of these wine openings. When I was working on a radio station in Melbourne many years ago, God, that's 40 years ago, we actually were doing an interview with some wine exhibition on in Melbourne at the time, and we had some of these international wine experts, the sort of people who would be on the judging panel, and they'd be getting the wines in a glass, and they'd be swirling them around and looking at the colour and the light and checking the aroma and all that sort of stuff. So we got them in, and we set them up in the radio studio, and we set it up in such a way. There he is again, Mr. Steve Ross. We actually blindfolded them and said, can you tell us where this wine's from, or where that wine's from, or this is an expensive wine or a cheap wine, or can you name the label? And they very confidently put the blindfolds on. And amazingly, most of them couldn't tell the difference between a red and a white wine. So it goes to show how much of the whole sort of wine oeuvre, the whole thing, is built around appearances and impressions. So I found that very, very interesting. And it was all proven on live radio back in the day. So something we can check out. Maybe here, get some wine experts in, blindfold them and see how they go. Okay, you are a lucky person, Rachel. Okay, wine grows on trees. James says, have you considered a live stream daily news bulletin format? Interesting, James. With a trusty assistant, that's going to be hard to find here, to bounce off and share reporting work and reducing editing. Those that missed the stream can watch later. James, doing it live would actually make my life a lot easier. There's a certain amount of stress doing it live, but I think I could probably get better at doing it and produce a good show. Now, of course, Steve would be the obvious person, but he's retired, and I am absolutely sure that he doesn't want to commit himself to a daily program with silly me. And, of course, I would have to pay him. And I can't technically pay him because he's retired. So it's all complicated. I mean, Steve is a much smarter person than me. He's got much more knowledge than I have regarding living in Thailand. But he's just not the person who's... I mean, he would be the show, really. Trying to find anybody who can speak good English, have some working knowledge of Thai news here in Turtle Beach is going to be a hard find. Anyway, it's a good idea. Maybe doing it live, even if I'm doing it by myself, could be the way around it. So, spend 10-15 minutes just going hard on the news and then addressing 5 or 6 comments and then saying goodbye. Maybe that's the way to do it. So, well done, James. I think you're on the right track there. Let's see what happens. K-Bank is fairly okay, and the apps are in English, but I actually prefer the Agricultural Co-op Bank or Talk or Saw. That's just from Cha-Cha Cha. Yeah, I don't really want to change banks, but anyway, it's all good fun. Australian wines have been notoriously good. I'm happy the import duties are changing. It's a very good thing. It's from Shelley Hale. Yeah, Australian wines, I think, have got a great reputation around the world. I'm not an expert. It's just what I hear from my wine drinking friends. Montclair wine is all you need to know, says Mick Fitz. I'll take a large glass of wine, please. There's also Thai whiskey. Yes, I think there is Thai whiskey. Congratulations on the 30,000. Thank you very much, Keith. Appreciate that. Good grapes need a temperate climate or they take on a bitterness, says PG Santa. Well, look, I mean, somehow these Thai wine producers, who may have more money than you or me, have found a way to produce, apparently, in some people's comments anyway, quite good wines. I mean, obviously you don't like them, but yeah, I mean, these people are spending a lot of their own money establishing wines in a climate that seems to me to be not supportive of good wines, but these people are throwing good money at the possibility of growing good wines in Thailand, so good luck to them. A New Zealand Sauvignon is the one for me, says Dam 1. And we'll do a few more comments here. We'll see how we go. Try Mr. Mick Australian red wine. Excellent. I need to make sure they're all late to the party. Tim been out to sea lately. Okay. Oh, Lewis, thank you very, very much. Says, just tuned in. Any update on the visa on entry visa from the US being extended to 90 days, Tim? No, I don't know anything about the visa exemptions being extended from 30 to 90 days. As I said earlier, I've read nothing about that, apart from a few rumours back in November, but I've heard nothing since then. So I think maybe I've missed something, but I haven't read anything in the last couple of days that's given me any hope that they could be extending tourist visa exemptions from 30 to 90 days beyond what already happened last year. So sorry, Lewis, I can't help you, but thank you very much for your very generous support of the program. Could you pay Steve with lighters, says Bill. Probably could, and he'd be very grateful for that too. Comment from Wilco. Maybe try doing more video shorts. Just one catchy one can pull in a lot of views and subs from a wide audience. Wilco, that's a good comment as well. And I've got a, I don't know what you call them, a mentor, a YouTube mentor. It's a little lady somewhere in India in a call centre, but she's been given my account and she sometimes just writes to me and says, you need to do more shorts. That's about it. That's all she says. But I've done 3 or 4 shorts in the past. They don't make any money at all. I mean, bugger all. But I think you're right. On specific topics, on specific days, they could be useful. They're very quick to do. You just turn the camera on, record it and upload it and it's done. It always seems to catch me because it does the thumbnails for you. You can't do your own thumbnails for the shorts. It always catches me on the thumbnail going, well, something hideous with my face. Don't know why it does that. Okay, but yeah, that's a very good suggestion, Wilco. Thank you very much. And I think I'll keep that in mind and I'll definitely get to doing more shorts this year. Giza Break. Australian wine definitely up there with the best margarines. Okay. Sure if you're trolling me or not. Deepak, just to notice the prices in stores around have gone up by 20% just last month alone. Any sort of thing you noticed around? The prices, general prices, are we talking about alcohol? Are we talking about wines or general prices? I haven't really noticed the price of like groceries going up. I mean, they went up last year, I noticed, maybe about averaging 10%. But I haven't really noticed any recent changes or major changes to the grocery costs. Rachel Masters says, comment, for those who want a 90-day visa, why not apply for it before travelling to Thailand? I did this, no problems. You're right, Rachel. You can, in most cases, apply for a tourist visa to come to Thailand. I think it's initially, for most countries, 60 days, and then you can extend it by another 30 days when you get here. Yes, so you're absolutely right. I think people just want the convenience of arriving here and magically getting 90 days visa-free. I get it. AI is pretty good at taking your videos and creating shorts for you to post. Stephen, that's interesting too. Do you have any websites that you can push me towards? I'm very happy to look at perhaps doing that. Again, if I had staff, my God, I'd be doing so much more. I'd be making more videos. It's just I have that much time every day and I can only do so much. I'd like to do chapters on the videos. I just don't have time. But if you know of a website uses AI to turn a video into a short, mind you, I could just edit that down myself, I suppose. I'd be interested to know. Stephen Rafferty, Tim, on some streams, a quick QA with owners, staff, how business is now after the pandemic and their outlook. If you can, their most embarrassing moments with awkward Farang customers for a laugh. Okay. Look, I'm in interviews. I love doing interviews. But if you're going to start doing interviews, you've sort of got to have a few people lined up. And I don't particularly like doing them online. I like doing an interview with a person face to face. It's the only way I really think a good interview can work. Otherwise, it sort of becomes this fairly stilted thing between two people who aren't in the same room. They can't really see the hand language. They can't get that instant eye contact. So I think you lose a lot in an interview when you're doing them online. I much prefer to have the person sitting next to me or opposite me. Bar fines have gone up, says the Wu-Tang Life. There you go. Thank you for that information. Shorts are for people with no attention span. Yeah, look, I suppose, again, it's the sort of people who are watching the shorts would be perhaps a different audience than people who I usually communicate with who are watching the 15 or 20-minute daily show. And a few more comments before we say goodbye. Drone camera, much more fun than staff, Tim. Sure. Or find more grumpy old men. Look, there are plenty more grumpy old men here, but I think most of them are on retirement visas, OO or OA visas. They're not allowed to work. So it becomes complicated, you see? It's always complications. Please keep the grumpy old men Sunday chats coming, says Neil John Riley. Look, just give me a couple of weeks to get my feet under the table as regards my new lodgings, and I've really got a couple of busy months just getting everything settled. So I'll have the new place to live, and I'll have the 3 operating short-term rentals all up and going and finished and completed. So something has to disappear out of my long laundry list at the moment. And at the moment, having a chat to Steve, we're quite happy just to have a few weeks off, and we can pick up the program anytime in the future. Hi Tim, I love beef and I used to live in Thailand, but I found it very difficult to buy good cuts of beef in markets. Any suggestions from Mark Buckley? I think most of the best beef people buy here is imported. Places like Villa Market, they have imported beef. I think even the local Tesco up here has imported beef. I'm pretty much vegetarian these days, and becoming more so. I have meat very, very few times on a weekly basis, but I have seen some good cuts of meat, including beef, but it's usually imported. You and Steve obviously had an argument, you ladies. We didn't have an argument. Poor little rich boy, buy one of these translator gadgets and start interviewing Turtle Beach citizens. Oh, gee, I spend a lot of my day using Google Translate and going through these long, turgid conversations with the contractor, who is a delightful gentleman and a very good, reliable, honest contractor. But it does take a lot longer to get very simple things done. using Google Translate. Doing extended interviews would drive me crazy and probably drive you crazy as well. Boutiques are completely beyond my expat pittance. Back to the absolute basics and so much more fun that way. I missed that, obviously. Okay, interview expat business owners, their challenges and joys. Thanks, Chill Will, for that suggestion. Interview business owners. Yeah, there are plenty that I know. Good people, smart people. People like Sean, who I work with, who owns 5 Star Marine. Yeah, maybe it's a series I can put together. But I'd have to really just go out and find those people, sit down with them, commit something to camera when we're both sitting in front of the same camera and doing those interviews. But that's a good suggestion. And we'll maybe see if we can do more of those in the future. I tried to give you a website to create shorts with AI, but I think your mods removed it. Stephen, send any links to timnewtontoday@gmail.com. By the way, if you put a link on any comment on any of our videos on TNT, YouTube automatically removes them. So you can't put links on comments on any of the TNT videos, just so you know. I bought one of the earbud translators and tried to use it to listen to my wife talking to her family. The thing exploded like an electric vehicle. Did it really, Hans? Really? Interview bar girls, says D. Sandy. There's not many of them around here, to be honest. I'd probably have to go back to Phuket or up to Bangkok or Pattaya to interview bar girls, and I'm not exactly sure. I did an interview with a bar girl many years ago in a bar. Probably the most uninteresting 10 minutes of my life that I ever spent. I'm not really sure. Maybe you can suggest a bar girl that I should interview that has something useful to pass on to us all in a chat situation. Bangkok Beef, run by Greg Lang and Will, sent anywhere in Thailand. There you go. Greg Lang, I'm sure you can find him on Facebook. Great guy. And I think Greg's been eating quite a lot of his beef himself. But he's also got the Mexican food franchise, is Sunrise Tacos. Very good Mexican food. Thanks, Greg, for your hospitality in the past. Thanks, Tim. You're a resourceful expat business. We'll appreciate your good marketing and open other doors. Interview with Sean, 5 Star Marine, would be great. Sean's quite difficult to get in front of a camera for an interview these days, but he is a great guy, and certainly I'll be down there on the 15th for that event at 5 Star Marine. Cheers, Tim. It's just missed. We'll miss seeing you do your show. Just do a video once in a while. Keep in touch with your subscribers. Well, if you do a news channel, you sort of got to do daily news. That comes with the territory. You get live translation software, so you don't need to type anything. You can put links up in any YouTube channel unless you're a mod or a broadcaster. You can't put links up in any YouTube channel. Thank you very much. You wear a headphone each and talk. Oh, no. Translation from Thai to English and English to Thai is still fraught with a lot of misunderstanding. It would be a very stilted, uninteresting conversation. Believe me. YouTube is going to make changes to address AI content on the platform. Let's hope, Shelley Hale. So I think that in the future, AI automated posts will have a lower monetization, so the effort might be futile. I'm certainly not going to be using AI to make content. If I can use it to edit content, that's slightly different, using AI as a tool rather than as a content generator. Okay, with that, thank you very much for joining us today. Hopefully we've covered some topics that you found interesting. Always interested to hear your comments back, and thanks for those suggestions as to what we can do with TNT in the future. It's a new year, it's a new opportunity to make a few changes, and we'll certainly be doing so. And I hope you will join us in the journey, as whatever we do, it's something that is useful to you, something that can bring you a little bit more information or detail to your life here in Thailand. Thanks for joining us today. We've been going on for an hour and 24 minutes, which is far too long. You got better things to do. So have I. Been great having you with us over the past hour. We'll see you next time.